on January 5th, 2025, 9 days after Christmas and 8 days after she was killed, Jennifer Murillo Sheffield's family gathered at Ott and Lee Funeral Home in Brandon, Mississippi to say goodbye to her. It was a private funeral, and the service was a joint one. She was buried alongside the man who shot her. In the photographs circulated from the funeral display, Jennifer did not have her own portrait prominently featured. She was present only in shared images, a part of his life, a background figure in someone else's story. Even the arrangement of grief, it seemed, had not been built around her. Because Jennifer Sheffield, the woman in those shared photographs, had been building something. She had a plan. She had a daughter, and she had ambitions. She was a TikToker with over 6,500 followers. She decided to go back to school in her late 20s in hopes of becoming a doctor. She was scared and honest about that. And at that point, she was just 30 years old. Before we get to the morning her family called the police to request a welfare check, let me tell you a bit about who Jennifer Sheffield actually was. Because the coverage, the viral headlines, the TikTok reposts, the outrage shared across social media, all of it reduced her life to her final 18 days. Jennifer Murillo Sheffield was born on September 9, 1994 in Mississippi. Her parents are Eileen and Gilbert Murillo. Her younger brother, Austin Murillo, described her as part of the family that was a constant source of love and support throughout her life. Jennifer's roots were close-knit and faith-centered. She was a devoted follower of Christ, and by every account from those close to her, that faith was not decorative. It shaped the way she moved through difficulty. It was part of why, in the weeks before her death, she was still choosing gratitude. She was a biochemist before she was anything else professionally. Jennifer had obtained a Bachelor of Science degree in biochemistry and gone on to earn a Master's of Science degree in biology and medical science. At the time of her death, she was enrolled in the Masters of Medical Sciences program at Mississippi College in Clinton, Mississippi, working toward a career in medicine. Her academic advisor at the school was Dr. Stan Baldwin, Dean of the School of Science and Mathematics. She was not just enrolled, she was committed. Her obituary said she loved her band family, her MC family, and her UMMC family. That last one points to the community she created at the University of Mississippi Medical Center. Jennifer worked in healthcare, and she slipped between different professional circles like it was second nature. People called her passionate, especially when it came to helping others. Honestly, that's what drove her to medicine in the first place. For Jennifer, helping people wasn't just about picking a job, it was in her. She simply found a career where she could do what came naturally. She was also a mother. Her daughters are named Kylie and Gracie Sheffield. They were young. They were the reason Jennifer filmed herself in the car that December. They were the reason she was scared. They were the reason everything she was building, the degree, the income, the new house she was planning to buy, mattered as much as it did. She also had 4 dogs. On December 10, 2024, Jennifer Sheffield sat in her car somewhere in Brandon, Mississippi, and recorded a TikTok video. She was about to be a single mother. She wanted tips for saving money. She was, she said, a little scared right now.
So, about to be a newly single mom. I've never done this before. I've never been on my own before. So if you have any tips, saving money, making money, anything like that, like I would really appreciate it. Like, you know, because like I'm a little scared right now.
She was asking the internet for practical advice on navigating a new life. She was not asking for pity. She was, in her own words, grateful. She said her husband had been incredible through the process. She said it was a civil divorce.
My husband is being incredible though. Like, really and truly, like, we're working together, you know, everything is good. It is a very civil divorce with our daughter in mind.
She said it was good. She was wrong about the last part. But she did not know that yet. And the person she described, the grateful, forward-looking woman in that car, was the real Jennifer Sheffield. Not the cautionary tale, not the viral tragedy. The woman who was a little scared and making a plan anyway. She posted the video 18 days before she died. It has since been viewed more than 2.6 million times. In the morning of Saturday, December 28, 2024, at 7:19 a.m. in Brandon, Mississippi, officers from the Brandon Police Department responded to a welfare check at a residence on Tulin Street. The call had come from Jennifer's family. They had tried to reach her and could not. When they arrived at the home, family members inside told officers there were obvious signs of foul play. Both Jennifer Sheffield and her estranged husband, Brandon Sheffield, were found dead inside the residence. They had both died from gunshot wounds. Brandon Police Chief Joseph French confirmed the deaths to local outlet Dark Horse Press that same day. French stated that based on the preliminary investigation, it appeared Brandon Sheffield had shot Jennifer Sheffield before turning the gun on himself. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation was called in to assist the Brandon Police Department with processing the crime scene. Chief French issued a statement to ABC affiliate JWTV on December 28th. "This is an ongoing investigation," he said. "I would like to thank the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation for their assistance with the crime scene unit to assist with processing the scene." One of the couple's daughters was believed to have been in the home at the time of the incident, according to reporting by Dark Horse Press. No information was publicly disclosed regarding the child's immediate well-being in the hours that followed. Jennifer and Brandon Sheffield's official death date, as listed in Jennifer's obituary, was December 27, 2024. The discovery came the following morning. Jennifer and Brandon Sheffield had been married for a number of years. Brandon Sheffield was 40 years old at the time of his death, a decade older than Jennifer. His own obituary described a man whose connections with family and friends were deep. It said he was known as a great brother, uncle, and friend. He loved working on cars, fishing, playing disc golf, and taking vacations with his family. It described laughter and memories. It described a man whose family was still, in the days after his death, struggling to reconcile what they thought they knew about him with what he had done. The couple had recently decided to separate. Jennifer had filed for divorce and was working through the legal and logistical details of the split. By all visible accounts, the separation had, to that point, been amicable. Jennifer had said as much publicly. She had said it simply and clearly, without any apparent performance. One of her friends, Faye Lott, confirmed that the divorce was in progress at the time of the shooting, and Lott, who had known both Jennifer and Brandon, was candid about her confusion in the aftermath. "He's never been a violent person that I was ever aware of. I was with her when they met, and I've always loved him for how he loved her, so it's definitely hard trying to understand something we will never be able to." That statement, "something we will never be able to," that phrase kept coming up in the days after, over and over, from folks who loved Jennifer and from people who cared about Brandon. It's what people say when they're stunned, when someone's past never hinted at what they'd actually do, and now there's no way to take it back. Faye Lott's words deserve more than acknowledgement. They deserve interrogation, not of Lott herself, whose grief is real and whose honesty is genuine, but of what they represent structurally. In the documentation of intimate partner homicide, one of the most commonly reported features by those who knew the perpetrator is exactly this:
the absence of prior visible violence. Research from the National Domestic Violence Hotline and published studies on femicide patterns consistently show that lethality does not require a documented history of physical abuse. Emotional control, financial entanglement, the stress of an impending separation, these are risk factors for lethal violence that do not always present as the kind of behavior a friend would describe as violent. The moment most predictive of danger in intimate partner cases is often not a history of beating. It is separation.
Jennifer was leaving. She was making a plan. She was asking the internet for tips on buying a house and managing a single income. She was building a life that did not include Brandon Sheffield. And the research is clear, not as speculation, but as documented pattern, that the period of separation and the period immediately following it represents the peak of danger for women leaving relationships. None of this means Brandon Sheffield was secretly violent before December 27, 2024. It means that absence of prior physical violence is not absence of risk. And it means that when we continue to interpret "he was never violent before" as a statement about what was possible, we are working from a definition of danger that the evidence has repeatedly shown to be incomplete. Jennifer's friend was not wrong to say what she said. She said it because it was her experience. But it is worth naming, clearly, specifically, that the pattern her words describe is documented, and it has a name. Jennifer's December 10th video gained millions of views after her death, and the coverage that followed treated it primarily as an eerie foreshadowing, the ironic contrast of a woman praising the man who would kill her. That reading is not inaccurate, but it is incomplete. What the video actually revealed was not naivety, it was honesty. Jennifer Sheffield went online in a car to ask for practical help from strangers because she was about to face something genuinely difficult, and she was not too proud to say so. She was transparent about being scared. She was transparent about her finances. She was transparent about the fact that she had never lived alone and did not entirely know what came next. She was brave enough to say that out loud to 6,500 people. She was asking for help. Chief French confirmed that the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation assisted with the crime scene processing. The investigation was described in the days immediately following the discovery as ongoing. No criminal charges were filed and no trial took place. Brandon Sheffield died at the scene. The deaths of Jennifer Sheffield and Brandon Sheffield were, by the determination of investigators, a murder-suicide. The response to Jennifer Sheffield's death was wide and immediate, and it arrived, as so much of her life had, through social media. Her TikTok video, the December 10th recording in her car, resurfaced as news of her death spread in the days after Christmas. Commenters who had left responses about money-saving tips returned to find the context had changed entirely. The video gathered millions of additional views. People shared it not for the financial advice, but because of what it had become, a portrait of someone who had no idea what was coming. A GoFundMe campaign was launched for Kylie and Gracie Sheffield, Jennifer's daughters. The campaign was organized by Brandon Sheffield's older brother, Brian Sheffield, who asked the community for support for the girls. It noted, "So many have been praying for our family and have reached out wanting to help, and our only goal is to support the girls. There's no handbook on how to navigate such a tragedy, and we're doing our best to figure it out. But we do know Kylie and Gracie will need financial support." The campaign set a goal of $15,000. The GoFundMe update added on January 1st, 2025, just 4 days after the deaths, described Brandon as a devoted father who viewed his daughters as his world.
That framing was not without controversy. The joint funeral on January 5, 2025 at Ott and Lee Funeral Home in Brandon drew significant attention online when photographs from the service were circulated. In those images, Jennifer Sheffield did not have her own photograph displayed as a portrait. She appeared only in shared photographs as part of Brandon's life rather than as the central figure of her own memorial. Many people felt frustrated. To put it plainly, Jennifer, the woman who lost her life, never got the spotlight or respect she deserved in her own farewell. Meanwhile, the man responsible for her death got not just attention, but sometimes seemed to take center stage. For a lot of folks, that stung. What happened at Jennifer Sheffield's funeral is not unique to her case. It is a recurring feature of how intimate partner homicides, particularly murder-suicides, are handled in the immediate aftermath, and it is worth naming plainly. When the perpetrator dies at the scene, as Brandon Sheffield did, families face an impossible situation. They are grieving someone they loved and lost, while simultaneously processing the knowledge of what that person did. The grief is real. The confusion is real. The desire to bury them with dignity is understandable. But what gets lost in that process with disturbing consistency is the victim. Jennifer Sheffield's family had the obituary, the GoFundMe, the correct instinct, her words, her own self-description as a mother, a student, a woman who loved her band family and her dogs and her God, are all that survives of her on paper. But the joint funeral, and specifically the absence of her own portrait, represents something that goes beyond grief logistics. It represents the cultural difficulty of centering a murdered woman when the man who murdered her is also being mourned in the same room. The correct response to that difficulty is not to erase the victim. It is to hold both realities separately and without false equivalence. Brandon Sheffield's family's grief is legitimate. His daughters will grieve him. None of that requires Jennifer Sheffield to be diminished in the space built for her. She deserved her own photograph. She deserved to be the subject of her own memorial service. She had earned that, not through her death, but through 30 years of being a person. Jennifer Mario Sheffield was a biochemist who became a healthcare professional who was in the middle of becoming a doctor when her life ended. She was a daughter to Eileen and Gilbert Murillo, a big sister to Austin Murillo, a mother to Kylie and Gracie, who were her reason for nearly everything. She was 30 years old, and she had a life she was looking forward to. Her final public words were not a warning. They were an invitation. She asked strangers for advice because she was building something and she knew she could not do it alone. She was scared, and she said so. She was grateful, and she meant it. She will forever be cherished by everyone who knew her. That's what the obituary says. There were 2 daughters who needed their mother, a divorce to finalize. There was a master's program she had not yet finished. There was a house she had not yet bought, a mortgage she had not yet signed, a version of her life she had built entirely in the future tense. None of that exists now, not because Jennifer Sheffield stopped wanting it, but because she was 30 years old and someone decided that her wanting it was not something he could allow. That is the only sentence in this story that belongs to him. The rest belongs to her. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence or intimate partner abuse, contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or text START to 88788. Confidential support is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Honestly, these cases tend to stick with us even after the research wraps up. If they stick with you too, go ahead and share this video with someone who should hear about it. And if you'd like to support the channel and help us keep telling these stories, subscribing and leaving a like goes further than you'd think. Thank you for watching.